Yeah. We are live on YouTube. How is everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a good one. I got another great topic for you folks here today. And if you just pay attention to this topic and understand what it means, this is another topic that will completely change your life because it'll change the way of how you see things in a more realistic way, right? This is something that I've struggled with most of my life, and many people struggle with. And it's really hard to understand what this topic means unless you really do a deep dive into it and really start to, analyze, what really happens in many aspects of life. Before we get to that, I just want to say I'm feeling really amazing today. I'm feeling phenomenal. And I feel unstoppable. And that's how I want you folks to feel as well, regardless of what happens on any given day. Derek is back. Hello, host. I am smashing the thumbs up and sharing this out to everyone I know. Well, thank you for that, Derek. I appreciate that. And thank you for coming back regularly. Queen Helen Casey's in the house. Hey, Queen, how are you doing today? How was your weekend? I know you were on Twitter all weekend. I follow all your postings, as you know. The war continues between Russia and the Ukraine. The Russians attacking the Ukrainians. The country of Russia is attacking the country of Ukraine for practically no reason. And from what I've been hearing lately through CNN and other media outlets, it seems to be like the Russians are surprised that the Ukrainians have held them off. And that's why, to a certain extent, I think this whole thing is fixed, right? Maybe not completely, but at least partially. A lot of this stuff is fixed. It's just to get attention, just to stir things up, right? I don't feel like getting too far into it. Got somebody coming here. I'm going to wait for them to pass on by. But it's certainly costing us all. And I will say that gas prices continue to rise at an all-time high here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I live. To many of you folks back east in the Midwest and South, where you still have like around three something, gas prices $3.50 or low fours or high threes, right? Yeah, I understand. You folks are in a different economies, are cheaper out there, and to you, $3.50 gas is like $5.50 gas for us. So I get it. I get it. It's all relative to where you live, right? And this is the kind of stuff that one or two people, one or two global leaders decides to do, and that affects the entire world. And it's all because of resources, and we need a lot of Russia's resources to survive and to be able to, do many things, such as drive cars at a reasonable cost. And, there is a lot of truth that the one that has the most resources typically has the most control, especially if it's a resource or if they are resources that the whole world needs. If you have the most supply, the demand's going to be high, and if you want to be a jerk, you can kind of try to control it, right? Or control it, right? And it's just sad because, you know, I've always been the type of person that believes in world peace, global peace. I believe that every human being is born to be a good human being. I believe there's goodness and greatness in every single person, but that's not the way it typically ends up. And like I've always said, many people go through things and it just changes. That's a huge beetle on the trail. Look at this. I think that's a beetle, right, Queen? Can you see that? Wow. Guess my eyes are still good at 48 years old. But anyway, I don't want to get too far into this Russia-Ukraine thing. I'm really not interested in talking about it. I mean, yeah, it's the major thing happening. And quite honestly, yes, there have been some things that have happened and lives that have been lost, but this thing is really not as big as you would expect a war to be. There hasn't been a lot of mass destruction or anything like that. It's been like a calculated, targeted, attack in certain areas, and it's not even against the citizens, it's against the government, right? And all that type of stuff, right? So, I don't know, to be honest with you, I'm kind of bored by it. And again, I'm saddened by, the losses that we've encountered from both the Russia side and the Ukraine side. But yeah, I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm just, I'm sick and tired of this stuff. I'm sick and tired of people fighting. I'm sick and tired of people being selfish and inconsiderate. And, just ridiculous, It's not the way the good Lord made us to be. I know most people believe in God. I know some of you don't. If you don't, I still love you. No big deal. But most people like myself, they believe in God. And I honestly believe that God didn't make people to be the way some people are nowadays. And, I'm just one person here that has my opinions, my thoughts, my outlook on the purpose of life and how life should be. But hey, that's my say, that's how I feel. And maybe my message may resonate with some of you, help you turn things around to live a positive, friendly, outgoing, and giving type of lifestyle rather than always trying to take from people, Another thing before I get to it here today. Again, I'm on the trail where there's a lot of disconnects going to be happening due to electrical interference. If that happens, and it will, several times, I will, once you see this going offline, stick around, don't leave. I'm just going to reset my connection and be back in typically less than a minute or typically even less than 30 seconds. Another thing, I talked with my lady today, and again, I'm not going to get too far into what she's been dealing with. She's taken some time off of work and has a couple more days off regularly scheduled. She'll be going back to work, I believe, on Thursday, she said. She has experienced things lately, and one thing in particular that basically has completely changed her outlook on life. And I want to just come out and say to her, I'm really, really proud of you, of how you've handled this the past couple of days, how much better your demeanor has been. I mean, she's a good woman, don't get me wrong, but she's been through a lot like many people, right? And she's started to make a huge change in her life that's going to completely better it and allow her and I to have a life together in the future. And I'm not getting into details on it. Number one, it's not the right time. I want to respect her and her family's wishes. But number two, her and I are going to end up doing probably a podcast series on this. Probably 3 to 4 months from now. So, baby, if you're questioning if I'm going to be around or not, and maybe you'll laugh at this and get a good giggle out of it, right? If I'm saying that we're going to be doing a podcast on this after it's all said and done in like 3 to 4 months or 6 months, I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, baby, doesn't that mean I'm not going anywhere? You could be as clear as night and day with women. And because they're emotional beings, they still want you to be even more clearer than the clearest you could possibly be. Constant reassurance. I get it. That's how women are, especially when they're really into you, right? I totally get it. So, baby, hopefully that does it for you. For the time being, that is, until you feel the need to have that reassurance again. I get how it goes. It's all good. It's all good. 48 years old. I understand as best as possible how women are. 48 years old. If I was 28 or 18, I'd have no freaking clue what's going on. I'd be like, why the hell are women behaving this way? This is weird. Women are weird, right? It's like, you know, you try to be nice to them and this and that and do this and that. It doesn't work. Well, that's not the way it works. Stick around this channel. You'll find out more about how it works, and it'll give you the best possible shot to find someone that will work for you and you'll work for her, right? It's an absolute gorgeous day. I hope I don't get cut off over here. This is where the cutoffs start happening. I'm just going to keep on moving and we'll see what happens. Yeah, the story that my woman has to share. Like I've shared my story out here on YouTube for the last 5 years, and I continue to share it each and every day. There's always something new to talk about, or there's always something you can refer to regarding many various topics, right? In any situation. I've been sharing my story for 5 years, and I'm going to continue doing it. But let me tell you something. Her story knocks mine out of the park. Or, sorry, her story knocks it out of the park, is what I'm trying to say, compared to mine. There you go. I'm trying to say that her story is, I mean, if you only knew, and it's like, she's a wonderful woman, but if you only knew what this woman has put herself through just to try to find who she is and find happiness. That's all she's ever wanted at the end of the day, is to find happiness. If you only knew. And one of these days, we're going to share that story with you. It's going to blow your mind. I know there are a lot of women and even men that are probably going through similar things that she's experienced. And her and I want to share with you together that, yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And my lady is finally seeing that light. I'm not saying she wasn't good before. She's always been amazing. And it's never been about her not being good to people or being good to me. She's always been amazing to other people. She just hasn't loved herself. She hasn't been good to herself. And what I try to tell people is that, you know, how you see yourself is how other people are going to see you and treat you, right? If you're not good to yourself and you feel like you're a low-life scumbag or a bar rat or, you know, white trash or whatever, right? No disrespect, right? If that's how you feel about yourself and see yourself, how do you think other people are going to see you, and what type of people do you think you're going to attract? You're going to attract those people because that's how you're coming off, right? Even if that's not who you really are, that's what you're projecting out in the universe, so that's what you're going to get back, right? You only get back what you project out, right? A lot of these proverbs and things I say here, yeah, I know it's boring stuff. People don't want to hear it. They're bored. They want drama. They want entertainment. They want people kicking each other's asses, right? But a lot of these things I talk about here can and will change your life if you just focus on it for a little while instead of all the crappy stuff, right? That's a chopper. That sun is so bright, I can barely see. Keep moving, Eli, so you don't get disconnected. Oh, the geese are calling. Are you calling me? Queen, I think they were trying to get my attention. They're saying hi. Can you hear him, Queen? If I can hear him this loud, I'm sure the microphone is picking it up. All right, buddies. Dude, you go hang out with your wife. I got a show to run. All right? Email me, Coach Eli at coacheli@eliasmelas.com. We can have lunch one of these days, right? I just told the geese to email me. Let me come over here. There's a lady coming, and I want her to pass me because she's walking faster. Queen Holly Casey says, LOL. Are you laughing at me because I told the geese to email me, Queen? I think it's the male that's like screaming or something. His wife over there is just eating, right? Maybe his wife isn't putting out, so he's like frustrated, right? He's sexually frustrated. Let your wife eat, bro, because let me tell you something. If there's one thing I know about women, if you're hanging out with them and they're hungry and you don't get them food like instantaneously, it's like the end of the world, bro. You'll see those raw feminine emotions come out. Never keep your woman hungry. I gotta tell you that. Yeah, it's the same thing for men, right? But we just don't usually complain about it, right? We're like, I'm hungry, babe. Let's go get some food, right? When women get hungry, it's all of a sudden. One minute with women, I'm not hungry, babe. Let's go do this, right? Next thing you know, you go do something else. 5 minutes later, babe, I'm starving. Babe, I need some food. We got to get some food. We got to drop everything. If you don't understand that is how women are, then as a man, you're going to struggle. And you know what? It's not fair. It doesn't make sense. That's just how they are. So you either accept it and deal with it as best as possible, or have fun on your own. You and your hand, right? Anyway, I'm having a good time today. I'm in a really good mood. Phenomenal mood. I'll be even in a more phenomenal mood if this thing doesn't cut out on me the entire time, which that's not going to happen. But so far, so good. So far, so good, right, Queen? Let's not jinx it, right? Got 5 thumbs up, 11 in the box. Thank you so much for being here. Please like this, smash that like button. Whether you're here live or on the replay, Share this out on your community tabs. Share it out on Facebook, on your timelines, and in group pages on Facebook and on Facebook Messenger. Share it out on LinkedIn. Tweet it out on Twitter. That would help a whole lot. You can share it out within your Discords or even on Reddit. If you're on Reddit, great place to share out YouTube content. Just make sure you do it in the right forums and that the rules allow you to do it. You don't want to get banned, right? Or removed from the group, right? And subscribe, bang the bell, select on notifications if you already haven't done so. And if you aren't aware, if you don't pay attention to the chat where it says only subscribers that have been subscribed for 24 hours or more can chat, I'm mentioning that that is my rule here. In order to chat on any one of my live stream chats, or even if I do premiere videos which have a chat in there, right? You need to be subscribed to my channel for a minimum of 24 hours before you can chat. It's a safety mechanism to prevent as much trolling as possible on top of my other security that I have with Nightbot and the block words list on YouTube. But also, I want people here that want to be here for the right reasons, that really are supportive of my content, believe in what I say, and can, or feel like they're getting value and they're getting true help here, right? And if that's you, why would you not want to subscribe, right? So, yeah. It makes sense. I love it that YouTube added a subscriber-only mode to the live chat in the middle of last year. I think it was towards the end of last year, like middle of last year. I also saw a screenshot on Twitter a little while ago where they're working on another feature where they're going to be able to do live streams in the future where they only allow specific channels or people that you input to chat. So I got to tell you, YouTube is getting really down to the nitty-gritty on how much control you have over your audience and the type of people you want and people you don't want. And I love it. It's fantastic. Because for some of us, we don't want certain people here that are just here to cause issues. We want good people that resonate with our content and are ready to learn and make a difference in their lives. Babe, if you're watching, next time you come out here, you want to walk this trail with me? It's about 1.75 miles out and about 1.75 miles back. So in and out on this side here is about 3.5 miles. And then the other side is about 1/4 mile or a little more than 1/4 mile. So when I go to both sides and walking to and from the parking lot, I'm typically walking about 4 to 4.5 miles here a day. You can send me a text message. I'll get it after the show. Another thing I've learned is that, hey, you put your phone in do not disturb mode and you get no notifications or calls while you're live on the air, but you still have internet. You still have internet access to run the show, right? Because if I didn't do that, the trolls would be calling me and interrupting my shows. I remember when I first started doing mobile live streaming, they all started calling me. And I had to figure something out. I'm like, yeah, there's a solution to everything, right? Yeah. All right, folks, let's get right to it. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. The Walking with Purpose live edition, live from the San Francisco Bay Trail in beautiful Redwood City, California, where it's about, I think it was like 67 degrees when I got out of my car, but it's a little bit chillier on the trail. Obviously, there's water around and wind, right? This is episode number 236. 236. And the topic today is everything in life is subjective. The end justifies the means. One more time. Everything in life is subjective. There was a rat, not a rat, it was a squirrel trying to jump that short fence over there. Let me show you. Where'd you go, buddy? Are you going to try to go underground? You should have been able. There he is. Look, there it goes. You can make it up. There you go, buddy. You got it. Good for you. You can do it, right? A little Coach Eli inspiration and motivation, right? So yeah, everything in life is subjective. The end justifies the means. This is, in my opinion, one of the most critical topics that you can understand as a human being. Because if you do understand this topic as a human being, it will tremendously help you from not letting anything or anyone get to you, trigger you, upset you, etc. Right? Because sometimes in life, you've got to do certain things. Even if you're a really good person, even if you're a person like myself that was raised with traditional morals, values, and ethics, and you have morals, values, and ethics. I do. I'm a very honest and ethical person. I have morals and values, right? I believe in God. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I do believe in God. But again, whether you believe in God or not, I still love you. But I am a God-loving man. You know, I was born and raised in a traditional Greek household, and also was a big part of the Greek Orthodox Church. So I was raised to be a certain way, right? To be a good person, to be a law-abiding citizen, to be nice to everyone, right? To do everything in the most honest and ethical ways possible. But has that always been the case? And is it always possible? Do people like me sometimes even have to do things that are morally, I can't even say it. Let me get the words out of my mouth. Do people like me sometimes have to do certain things that are morally wrong for the outcome to be morally right at the end of the day, right? Let me repeat that one more time. Do good people like me, if you're a good person, have you ever had to do something that to you or to most people out there would be considered morally wrong because it was the way for it to end up being morally right at the end of the day? In essence, that's where the phrase, the end justifies the means, comes from, right? Everything in life is subjective, like I said a second ago. Okay? And what is it subjective to? Everything in life is subjective based on how you interpret it, right? It's subjective based on how you interpret it, right? And each one of us has the right and is more than capable of interpreting anything that happens in our lives in the way we want to interpret things, right? Let me give you an example here, right? Let me give you an example of something that is subjective, right? We have speed limits wherever we go, right? And if you remember, this was about a little over 20 years ago, where most major highways that had a speed limit at 55, and the population was at a certain level, and it was safe to increase the speed limit. They increased the speed limit to 65. Okay. So most major highways that used to have a speed limit of 55 are now 65, right? Some of them are 70 or 75 or 80 in certain parts of the country here in the U.S. It's all based on population and what's safe and what's not safe. I mean, if you're like in the middle of nowhere, a straight road, you can go 100. But there's no speed limit like that. I think 80 or even 85 is like the highest speed limit in the U.S., right? I remember watching the news when the speed limit increased, and one of our local, I think it was Channel 2, KTVU Fox 2, Channel 2, was interviewing a highway patrolman on the side of the freeway and was asking him, how are you going to enforce the new speed limit? And I think this guy was a little bit cocky and just trying to show off a little bit, right? He goes, 65 is the speed limit, 66 is a ticket. I'm like, shit, man. What if your speedometer is off, right? What if you're going down a hill and your car reaches 66, 67, right? You're supposed to ride your brake. Even if you set the cruise control to an exact speed, sometimes it fluctuates whether you're going uphill or downhill, right? If you're on a flat straightaway, it can pretty much maintain the speed you set, right? So I'm like, wow, 65 is the speed limit, 66 is a ticket. Got somebody coming behind me, so I'm going to pull over and let them pass. Beautiful. So, how did they actually end up enforcing the speed limit? For a few weeks or a month or so, I was really paranoid that if I went 66, I was going to get a ticket, right? So what would I do? I would drive like 63. And if I had that couple mile fluctuation and it hit 65, I'd let off the gas. I would, hit the brake and stuff, and I was always out looking for cops. I was. But that's an example there of something being subjective, right? That's a law that is subjective. In my opinion, at this point, I couldn't say this even a few years ago. I even learned a lot about how subjective all of life is over the past couple of years, just being out here on YouTube and seeing what some of the people on YouTube do, right? That, to most reasonable people, it would come off like they were breaking the law. And even if you would report these people as breaking the law, it was subjective to what the cops felt, if it was breaking the law or not, right? And to goody-goodies like me, when I say goody-goodies, I mean good people, law-abiding citizens, we're like, oh, life's not fair and blah, 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 right? Sometimes people are going to ride lines, push lines, skate lines, or even cross lines just a little bit, just to be a little bit of a nuisance, right? And they're really not trying to harm anyone or anything. They're just trying to have a little fun at your expense, right? Those are the kind of things that the cops are like, oh, it's a YouTube beef, or it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, did they break the law technically? Sure. But is this really worth our time? Is this something that can be prosecuted? It's going to cost our taxpayers money, right? And then you have those people that know this and basically take advantage of it, right? Play the system, right? That's another example of the law being subjective, right? I haven't been cut off once today. This is odd. I don't know if it's because there are certain pieces of equipment out here during certain times. I don't want to speak too soon. Maybe AT&T upgraded their tower over the weekend. I don't know. But so far, so good. Are we looking good, Queen? Have we had any issues yet? You keep going to places where it will cut out. Well, Queen hasn't cut out once. It can cut out anywhere, Queen. If you have interference or the wrong atmospheric condition, it can affect things. But so far, I'm at the same place today, Queen. Hasn't cut out one time, right? Can you still hear me all right? Hi. Everything in life, from what I've learned, I want to share some more examples so you folks better learn to understand this, right? So that way, if you're a good law-abiding citizen like myself, when other people skate the line, cross the line, barely cross the line, or do things that you feel are a violation of the law, when it's stupid, it's not gonna upset you. Yeah, are they technically breaking the law? Yeah, but what is it? Something really stupid and tiny, right? Some of the hardest cases to prove are cyberbullying and harassment, right? Because a lot of people trash talk people on social media like YouTube, right? So you try to call the police on people that are doing that, and they laugh at you. Or they say it's a YouTube beef, right? I've experienced all this, right? Is it frustrating? Sure. But I'm sharing this with you folks because you folks have to learn how to ignore these types of things and not let these types of people affect your life, whether it's online or offline, right? Right? And it's not just YouTube. This stuff happens in real life, like I said. You know, the speed limit, when it first increased from 55 to 65 over 20 years ago. The cop said 65 is the speed limit, 66 is a ticket, right? But have they really enforced it that way? No. Like, in actuality, I don't see them giving, whenever I'm driving on the highway and I see cops on the side of the road, right? I always see them, so I'm always going 65 past them, and I never really speed anyway, maybe 70, 75 at times, maybe 80 at times, when everyone else is going 80, right? But I see cops from a distance, right? And I never pass by them faster than the speed limit, right? And I see other cars that are going 75 and some going 80. And then one that stands out and goes 90. Who do you think they're going to pull over? They're going to pull over the one that's going 90, right? They're looking for the fastest car on the road. Cops are looking to see at what speed is the flow of traffic moving at, right? If the flow of traffic is going 70, 75, and you're going with the flow of traffic, does that save you from a ticket? Not necessarily, but it's less likely you're going to get one because you're going with the flow, right? But if you're that one car that's going 80 and passing by the group of cars that's going 75, they're more than likely going to pull you over, right? Again, it is the law. When you're going even 1 mile over the speed limit, you're breaking the law. But it's subjective, right? It's subjective to what's happening on the road and how the cop wants to handle it, right? The cop, within the full legal limit of the law, can pull you over for going 65 and give you a ticket for going too fast. He can also pull you over for going 64 and saying you're going too slow and you're causing, issues on the road. You're a hazard on the road, right? It's subjective, right? And this is something that I used to not understand. And I understand it much more clearly now because of my experiences out here on YouTube over the last 5 years, where I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie with you folks, right? In the past, I used to not follow politics as closely as I do now. I mean, I have always followed politics. We all have to a certain extent. But I'll be honest, I was stuck here in my bubble in the San Francisco Bay Area because it's nice here and a lot of things typically don't happen in a bad way and things are pretty, calm. It seems to always be all quiet on the Western Front, right? But as I started participating more online here on YouTube with people all over the country and all over the world, I started seeing how things are happening in other parts of the country that have different demographics, right? And have different levels of income, and poverty and all that type of stuff, right? Upper class, middle class, lower class people, right? Trashy people, right? No disrespect. And blue collar versus white collar people. Like I have seen so many things out here on YouTube going to wait for this guy to pass back on the other side. He's coming back. I've seen so many different classes of people, and I say this respectfully. I'm not here to attack any class or belittle any class, but there are classes of people, right? And every class of people out there are what those people have done, what those people have chosen to live their life as, which is what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, yeah, there are people born into poverty. There are people that are born in a rich family. There are people that are born in a middle-class family, right? But ultimately, it's what you make out of yourself. Even if you're born into a lower-class family, you go to college, get a degree, or you work hard and you get a good job, you make good money. You could be middle class or upper class. It's all about how you choose to live your life and what you do to make something out of yourself, right? Regardless of what you were born into or not, right? So after seeing all these different classes of people in a more clear and apparent way than ever before, because YouTube is a global platform. YouTube has brought together the entire world with video, right? And now with the live streams and stuff like that, people are doing live stream panels all over the world. And you're getting to learn a lot about how people are living their life based on the area they live in, right? I learned a lot about demographics. I mean, I knew a bit about demographics before I came on YouTube, but when you come on YouTube, let me tell you, it's demographic central, right? You see all walks of life right at your fingertips on your phone, right? And if you are a content creator like me and you've run panels like I used to in the past, and in the future I'll probably do some more again when the time is right, you've seen this, right? And because of the way, I'm not going to go up to the observation deck. There is a goose up there. I would love to go up there and get up close to that goose, but there are a couple of people. Like, I don't know if I can zoom in. I mean, I think I'm in digital zoom. I don't know how clearly you can see this. There are a couple people there. And then there's a goose right there. Can you see that, Queen? The thing I'm surprised the most is I haven't cut off one time. But I think I had that same thing the other day, and then when I started coming back, that's when the issue started happening on the other side. Maybe it's when I'm on this side of the trail. I don't know. So be prepared for some cutoffs, folks. If I cut out, I'll be back in a few. I hear you, but you haven't cut out yet. Thank you, Queen. Yeah, Queen, it just depends on the atmosphere, you know? I mean, if you look at this place, Queen, it's a pretty wide open area, right? You would figure the reception would be great because it's wide open, nothing blocking anything, right? The signal, right? So when there's no electrical interference going on, and I'm assuming it has to do with how much voltage is going through those power lines at any one given time. There are probably times when there's a greater demand for electricity and there's interference, and there are times where it's minimal. So I'm back, and when I just start going into detail talking about it, it cuts me off. Maybe because I lifted my phone up so high. Anyway, it is what it is. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. And goodbye, live stream. But I'm back already, Queen. I'm back before you even said that. You see how quickly I came back, Queen? Excuse me. No more buffering, though, right? We're back, right, Queen Helen Casey? You know, a few more examples here regarding everything in life is subjective. For now, thank you, Queen. Thank you for being positive. Thank you for having a positive outlook. I appreciate that. Folks, please, again, like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select on notifications. We have 5 likes. Let's try to get to 10 likes before the end of the stream. I would really appreciate that. Those people that were at the observation deck are not coming back. I'm going to pull off to the side and let them pass me because they're going to walk a lot faster. Some other examples, I've kind of mentioned them before. You know, it's kind of like, you know, getting a promotion at work. And even if you're more qualified for the job than other people, sometimes, or in many cases, other people get the job over you that are less qualified because they're friends with the hiring manager, right? Or the district manager or something, right? And, you know, I've mentioned before, that happened to me a few times in my retail career, in my retail management career. And I was a manager working for, I think it was Office Max at that time. I had an assistant manager that was really nicely good lady, had a good husband, right? And she was really a cool person. And she had been in retail management for a while. She used to work for Toys R Us as an assistant manager. And because back in those days, when Toys R Us was big, before it all closed down, being an assistant manager at Toys R Us is like being a store manager at like an Office Max or Office Depot or a smaller retailer, right? And you know, when I would tell her about these things, about being passed up, and she goes, it happened to her. And she told me this, and I've never forgotten it. She goes, you know, Eli, or Elias, because some people would call me Elias, some Eli, right? She'd say, Elias, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And I really, you know, I didn't want to hear that. I was hoping she would, you know, find a way to push me through to the next level, right? And it's not that she didn't want to push me through the next level. It's just that it's out of her hands. Because the same district manager that promoted somebody to store manager over me is her same district manager, right? So if she tries to fight for me against something that the district manager chose to do a different way, right? Not only is it going to affect my job, it's going to affect her job, right? And that's something I really didn't realize as much back then, right? But I've learned a lot about that since that time, right? And I've learned to understand more that even promotions in the workforce are subjective. You could be the most qualified person for the promotion and get passed up by someone far less qualified because they're friends with the hiring district manager, right? Who gets promoted is subjective to the way the district manager or the hiring manager wants to handle it, right? Is it morally right? Is it ethically right? No. Is it illegal? No. He can hire whoever he wants. He can promote whoever he wants, right? And those are tough pills to swallow, folks. Those are really tough pills to swallow because there are a lot of people out there that, you know, are going to do favors for people that are far less qualified than you are for that same favor. Well, I say favor, promotion in this case, right? And I've always said, you know, the best way to handle it, I mean, at least not always, but now I say the best way to handle it is to just let it go. Don't complain. Keep doing your job. Your time will come. Yeah, sure, the district manager hooked up his less than qualified friend for the job. That was his choice. just turn the cheek and keep doing your job, and your time will eventually come, right? What happens if you complain and keep complaining? And what happens even if you report your district manager to human resources regarding that? Oh, he hooked up his friend with a job over promoting me that was more than qualified. Whose side do you think human resources is going to take? You guessed it, the district managers, right? The district manager will say, well, he thinks he's more qualified, but I hired someone from the outside. Happens to be someone that I've worked with in the past. I thought he was a good choice, right? That's all he has to say, right? District manager has more seniority in the company and more pull with the company. And even if you're right, you're going to lose, right? You're going to lose every time, right? That's another example of, job requirements being subjective to how the hiring manager wants to apply them to you, right? That's why I say everything in life is subjective according to how each individual person interprets everything. Oh, I was looking to see what was going on. Somebody's over there trimming the SF Bay Trail with a gas-powered trimmer. Definitely you're going to have gas-powered out here because there's no way you're going to run off a battery or be able to plug it in somewhere. I wonder if that one guy over there for the last several days or so has been trimming this entire trail by hand. I mean, you figure you get a John Deere to come in here, right? But getting a John Deere to come in here would totally remove everything. You want to leave some of it as a landscape, right? So probably was all done by hand. A lot of work. But he's probably getting paid pretty well. It's all good, right? So that was another example of how another aspect of life is subjective, right? Your opinions, let's talk about those. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Your opinions are subjective too, right? Give me a second here. Wow, what a beautiful plane. Wow, you can hear that. That's nice. Wow. That is a beaut. That's probably like a first-class private plane, private jet. Probably comes fully equipped with a wet bar, satellite TV, satellite internet, everything. That is, wow, if I was going to have a private jet, it'd be just like that. Come over here a second. Moving over here to let that man on the trail pass on by, and then look as he was passing by. An old man, maybe he's just curious what I'm doing, right? Yeah, I'm taking a walk just like you, except I'm live on YouTube too. Walking with purpose, brother. Walking with purpose, baby. So let's talk about how your opinions are subjective as well, right? Like I said, all aspects of your life are subjective, right? So what are your opinions subjective to? Your opinions are subjective to how other people interpret them, right? And whether your opinions make sense or not, they may make sense to some people, and other people, they make no sense. Other people may realize you're making sense, but maybe they're jealous and insecure and they just want to, come back at you and say they make no sense just to upset you, right? Again, your opinions that you put out there the people that respond to them are going to respond based on how they interpret your opinions, right? And don't you do the same thing, right? Another plane coming. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. Love watching planes fly. All right. Like I've said before, what I state out here, a lot of the things I put out here are my opinions. Are some of them facts? Sure, some things I state as facts, but most things I put out here are my opinion of how I feel certain things would work out if you did certain things to get them to work out, right? I also share my opinions on why certain things don't work out, and I give examples of how I've made mistakes and how I've overcome those mistakes. Right? But they're still my opinions, right? And they are subjective to how you people interpret them, right? So how do you deal with that so it doesn't bother you? Because you're going to get many people that will respect your opinions and other people won't, right? Because everyone's going to interpret them differently, right? Like I've said in the past, the only opinion of yourself that truly matters is your own. One more time, the only opinion of yourself that truly matters is your own, right? If you can truly get yourself into that mindset, nothing will bother you, nothing will trigger you, nothing will affect you, right? But you've got to get to that mindset, right? And you've got to understand that just because some people don't agree with your opinion doesn't mean your opinion is bad necessarily, right? That's why they call it an opinion, right? Folks, if everything was about facts, there'd be nothing to talk about because everything would be a fact. There'd be nothing to debate or discuss, right? Part of life is talking about things and having friendly debates over them, right? Now, do some debates get pretty heated, right? Because some people are so adamant on one side of certain opinions and other sides, right? Yes. But is it really necessary to debate at such a heated level where you're fighting? No. Having civil, reasonable discussions. I don't even like to call them debates. I like to call them discussions, right? A debate is something that instigates fighting for drama ratings on TV, YouTube, radio, etc., right? So even take out the word debate and say, let's have a discussion on something, right? If there are certain things that have not been proven as facts, we all have our opinions about them, right? Right? Facts are facts, opinions are opinions, right? So opinions allow us to talk about certain things and discuss them and share what we feel would work and not work and vice versa. I thought that guy that was walking on the other side was a guy I'd seen here in the past that stopped me to talk with me. But he didn't look as big as that other guy. Had to kind of make sure for a second. You never know. You gotta keep your eyes and ears open. Folks, please like this stream if you're here live. Like it on the if you're here as well on the replay. Or if you're here on the replay, not as well. I mean, you can't do a live stream and replay at the same time. What am I saying, right? But like it, share it out on your community tabs. If you have one, share it out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, any other social media platform. Share it out to any of your friends or family members that you feel would get great value from my content, my positive, uplifting content. where I dissect every single little aspect of life, whether it be on a personal or professional level. I'm a business and personal success coach. Success coach. I'm a business and personal success coach, relationship coach, aka life coach, right? And I've got my 48 years of experience here, and I have a lot of it. A lot of it in the dating world, a lot of it in the business world, in the corporate world, and being self-employed. I've experienced every single aspect of life, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And if you've been struggling to find yourself and figure out who you are or who you really want to be or who you were meant to be, right? If you're struggling to figure out what career is best for you, right? It's going to make you the money you deserve to make and make you happy, right? If you're struggling with other aspects of life, like alcohol dependency, drug dependency. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I can try to help you through positive reinforcement. Now, if you're a substance abuser, right, or an alcohol abuser, I can help you to a certain extent, but I'm going to more than likely or definitely refer you to a psychologist and possibly rehab or AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, etc., right? And just because I haven't publicly talked about every single person I've helped doesn't mean I haven't helped a bunch of people. But yes, having some referrals and testimonials is helpful, and a lot of those are coming, right? A lot of testimonials are going to be coming to my channel within the next more than likely 3 to 6 months. And they'll come on my website, obviously, at coacheli.com. There's a reason why there aren't any out there at this point. It's not because there aren't any. It's because of other things. I've had to figure out many things of how to run my business out here on YouTube and other social media platforms, while also protecting people's privacy. What is that? Is that a chopper? Nice. That's just a regular chopper going to the San Carlos airport. Not even a news chopper for traffic. Beautiful. Another thing I'll talk about, I may have done a stream on this already. If not, I'll do it soon. Repetition is the mother of skill. Repetition is the mother of skill. And what that means is that when you do something over and over and over and over again, you get better at it, right? And same thing out here on YouTube. If you're a YouTube content creator and you've been creating content for years like I have, and you just haven't hit the right audience yet or triggered the YouTube algorithm, does that mean you should give up? Does that mean that you're not worthy? Does that mean you don't have good content? Like I was saying, if you continue to move forward despite minimal views, minimal results, right? And you power through any struggles, you power through any hate that comes your way from other YouTubers or other people that are trying to kick you down. If you just rise above it and keep moving forward each and every day, eventually your time will come. Eventually your time will come. I've grown to realize that there are always going to be people trying to stop you no matter what you do, right? And in many cases, it may appear like they are successful or they're going to end up being successful at stopping you from whatever you want to accomplish. Like for me, it's to get this YouTube channel to the next level, right? First by getting the 5K subs, I'm pretty close to that. And then getting the 10K, then 25, then 50, then 100, right? Right? And even if people are thinking that, yeah, they are getting to me and they are trying to slow me down, or they have slowed me down, or they have stopped me, here's the bottom line. The only thing that can stop me is myself, okay? The only thing that can stop me is myself, because you guys can't stop me from creating content, right? That's just an example, right? Right? I'm going to keep moving forward and doing what I do each and every day, regardless of the outcome, right? Because I know at some point my courage, my motivation, my dedication, my inspiration is going to come through to more and more people. More and more people will start to come across my content. More and more people will start to understand it and resonate with it. And then it'll just exponentially take off. But if I were to quit right now, right, because it hasn't happened in 5 years, then in essence, I'm giving up on myself. It's not the haters writing me out. It's me writing myself out, right? That's the way you folks have to look at things, right? And again, like the topic states, everything in life is subjective to how you want to interpret it, right? Everything in life is subjective according to how you want to interpret it, right? It is. Plain and simple, right? You know, my lady is a lot like me. She's a law-abiding citizen. She has a big heart and soul. She has always put others in front of herself, right? And I used to do that, not anymore. Doesn't mean that I don't care for people and I don't make effort for people and go out of my way for people. I just never do it at the level that puts them in front of myself. Because if you put people in front of you, you can't help people that are in front of you, right? You can't, right? If you put people at the same level, then they're alongside you, right? This happens typically with many of our friends as we're growing up. Like I mentioned on some past streams, we do things that we think are going to please our friends and that will make them want to hang around with us more, right? But are they really a true friend if you have to go out of your way to do things for them because you know that's the only way they'll hang out with you? Don't you want them to hang out with you just because they like you without doing anything, right? I used to be like that, and I'll tell you what that is. In my younger days, I was like that. My lady has been like that. She's turning it around. It's an insecurity. It's because you feel you're not worthy enough within yourself to have friends, right? And so you end up making friends with people based on how you see yourself at the current time. Right? These are people that also feel they aren't worthy of themselves, right? So what are you doing in essence when you're hanging around these people? You're further setting yourself back. You're further setting yourself back. And do these people really care about you or value your friendship, or are they just using you as someone that, you know, buys them lunch or as a therapist when the times are tough? The way to truly know if someone's your friend or not, or really cares about you or not, is not about what you do for them when the times are tough. It's about what they do for you when your times are tough, right? One of the hardest pills I had to swallow in life was in my younger days when I'd go out of my way to be there for friends when they weren't feeling well. If they were sick, I'd go hang out with them, bring them some medicine. I'd help them out, right? I would do things for them, right? When they would go through a breakup, I would go and talk with them, spend time with them, and help them feel better, right? But what happened when I got sick? No one came to me. What happened when I went through a breakup? No one cared to be there for me, to console me, right? So is that a real friend? Are those real friends? No. No. Those are people that will come around only when it benefits them and will expect you to be there for them through their tough times. When you have your tough times, where are they, right? Now, my lady, if she's watching this, she's like, yeah, that's the story of my life. That is the story of your life, babe. And that's because you don't realize that these people really aren't your friends, right? They really aren't your friends, right? If they were your friends, they would drive 3 hours to see you every now and then instead of you always going 3 hours to drive to see them, right? They would buy you lunch every now and then instead of you buying them lunch every time, right? Friendships, relationships, etc. Whether you're dating someone, friends with someone, all relationships, no matter what type of relationship they are a two-way street. They are a two-way street. But nowadays, most people are very selfish and it's one-sided. They come to you when they need something, and when you need something from them, oh, dude, I can't today. I can't. What about tomorrow? Oh, I can't, dude. What about next week? Well, dude, I'm going to be busy for the next 3 weeks. I'm working on this major bullshit. Don't give me that crap. Because now you're showing me your true colors. And the next time you need something from me, guess what? You're not going to get shit, right? You're not going to get anything. Let me see here. Are we still okay? I think we're still okay. We're good. I was talking with my lady again today, and that's what inspired this topic. When I talk with her, I get inspired to just talk about many great topics that can help many people through many various aspects of life, right? And I wasn't going to share this, but I'm gonna share it again. So my one of my lady's friends, after something that recently happened to my lady a couple days ago, that I've been kind of mentioning, but I haven't gone into detail because we're going to talk about it down the road. My lady reached out to her because she considers her one of her closest friends, right? And let me tell you this is funny, right? This is a woman I've talked about in the past, right? This is an unhappy woman that's been single for a long time, has a daughter in her early 20s, and she's just miserable, right? I'm not here to talk smack about her because I think she could easily turn her life around, but this is what people do when they're miserable, right? They try to kick down other people's happiness, right? So this woman was talking with my lady yesterday, and while my lady was on the phone with her, I think she was on the phone with her, she was texting me saying that my friend ran a background check on you. I'm like, that's great. And, she said this, and that, right? Blah, blah, blah. Questioned a bunch of things, right? I said, no big deal. Let her think she wants. Just like some trolls and haters think certain things about me. They don't know what's going on in my personal life. They don't know what happens outside of YouTube. And it's none of their business. It's none of her business, right? But I'm not triggered. I'm back. Queen Ellen Casey says, this is really embarrassing with the live stream going out. You see, I could let that trigger me, Queen, but I've known you for 3 years. And I think you've heard everything I've said. It's not embarrassing. It's technology, and it is what it is. But, Queen, here's an example of, my opinion being subjective to how you interpret it, right? Or how you interpret what's going on, right? You're interpreting it as, hey, it's embarrassing when this keeps cutting out. And I'm saying, Queen, it's out of my control. I have top-of-the-line phone. The iPhone. Well, it's the 13's out, but I have top-of-the-line iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's a great phone. I've got a great microphone. I'm in an area with good reception, but unfortunately, there's a lot of electrical interference. There's nothing I can do about it, and I love this trail. And I'm not going to stop coming here because of that. I'm just going to deal with it, right? Respectfully and maturely, right? It's not that big of a deal, right? Now, I respect you. I always will, and we're always going to be friends. You're always going to be a mod here and all of that. My opinion differs in yours, right? Because the only opinion that really matters of myself or what's happening to me is my own, right? I value your opinion, but I disagree with it, right? Respectfully disagree, right? Anyway, getting back to the story about my lady's friend. So yeah, she had run a background check on me, right? And I mentioned this before, I'll say it again. My lady knows everything on that background, and that we've talked about it, right? 12 years ago, I had a bankruptcy because of a relationship I had. And basically, what happened was, I recovered right away. It just discharged my debt, right? And after 10 years, it comes off your record. So 2 years ago, it came off my record. My credit's perfect again, right? So it's funny to me that her friend mentions nothing about the bankruptcy. That's clearly on there, right? But she mentions this one thing here. She goes, your boyfriend has two active restraining orders on him. I'm like, excuse me? 2 active restraining orders? Restraining orders are public record. And you could go down to San Mateo County and look that I don't have any restraining orders on me. Now, I was involved with a couple of restraining orders that I got on other people. Number one, I got a restraining order on somebody online a couple years ago, a year and a half ago or so. And that's all said and done with. It expired after a year, and I didn't renew it, and I'm just choosing to ignore that guy. That still trolls me all the time, right? That was one I got on somebody else for cyber stalking and harassing and threatening my life. Number two, there's another woman out here that got a restraining order on someone else, another YouTuber, and basically added my name to it, and I was a part of that restraining order. So here's my lady's closest friend that is telling my lady that there are 2 active restraining orders on me out there, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. Now, I didn't even know that certain background checks, show any restraining orders that are either on you. Well, if they're on you, I can see that. But if you're the one that got a restraining order on somebody else, how would that show up on your background? Unless you do a very thorough police background check, or you have someone that's a private investigator or something and has very, very intricate tools, right? Even then, why is this woman looking into me, right? I have nothing to hide. I don't care. I told my lady I have nothing to hide. She knows the truth about me and everything, right? I'm going to share with you why in a second, why I feel she's doing this. Well, I practically said she's just miserable and unhappy. And she's seeing her friend with a good guy, comes from a good family, right? And if she doesn't destroy our relationship, then her friend is going to be taken out of that crappy town that they all live in, no disrespect, and live a good life with me, and her friend will still remain miserable as fuck, right? That's the truth of the matter, right? Right? Even if those restraining orders that I was involved in getting them on someone else show up on a background check, she would see that. The restraining orders aren't on me. They're me getting them on somebody else, one of them, and then someone else that got a restraining order on another YouTuber out here years ago and added my name to it. She would see that, right? But even if she sees that, she's going to try to present it as I'm the one that, people got an order on, right? Why? Because she's trying to destroy my relationship with her friend because she's miserable and wants to keep her friend in a miserable state so they can be there for each other indefinitely and with no disrespect in that crappy town they both live in. It's not that crappy, but it's just not the type of town I'd want to live in. I'm just being a little, dramatic about it, right? Let me come over here because we've got some people coming. Okay, I'm going to come out this way. I went down where I normally go to let those people pass, and then they went and sat right on that bench. So I'm like, I'm just going to go. It's all good. And then something really, really funny even happened, right? This woman that's my friend's that's my girlfriend's closest friend, I guess. She mentioned something that she would have only recited exactly if she went on YouTube searching for what other people are saying about me in the past, right? So, yeah, there is a lot of truth when the trolls and haters talk shit about you, make things up, right? Overly emphasize certain things, right? That there are people that will go out and find that. But what types of people are looking for that? Miserable, low-life scumbags. Just like them, right? And I don't want to sit here and call my lady's closest friend a miserable, low-life scumbag, but that's what she is. Right? She doesn't have to be. Right? And I mention this because here's the thing. You never want to burn. I'm going to wait for these people to pass. All right, as people started walking again, I'm just waiting for them to pass. They seem to be a little odd, right? And you just got to be aware, right? I'm just going to wait, give them some space, and keep moving forward. Let them go to the observation deck, and I'll go sit down on the bench and wait for them to come back. I don't think they're there to cause any harm. They're a happy and love couple. A little odd, older, a little weird, right? And so it just, you gotta just be aware, that's all. But here's the thing. I talked to my lady on the phone after that, right? All right, sorry, we're back. We should be back. We are back. Okay. So, whatever my friend, or my girlfriend's friend was saying to her about me was subjective to how she wanted to interpret information that she was digging to find out about me, right? Right? And here's the funny thing. I tell my lady, right? Look, I've got absolutely no criminal history. You know, how come your friend didn't mention that I have no criminal history? I don't even have a speeding ticket or a parking ticket, right? What's the most important thing about a background check is the criminal history, right? That says a lot about, a person's character and their intentions. Now, can people be reformed? Sure, some can, but not all, right? So I'm not saying if you have a criminal history, depending on what the criminal history is, in my opinion, you can be reformed, right? But I have absolutely zero criminal history, not even a speeding ticket or a parking ticket ever in my entire life. Perfect driving record, right? Didn't even bring that up, right? Tried to, knock me down in other ways because this woman is jealous of who I am and, what I've got, what my family's got, and what my woman could be becoming a part of, right? And if my woman's friend is watching this, it's like, hey, I really care about my woman. She has not asked me for one thing at all, ever. She's bought me things with her last dime to show me how much she cares about me. It makes me feel guilty, right? And I'm going to be honest and say this. I've even paid her back. Not for everything, but for most of everything. Most of it, not everything, right? Because she wants to feel, she wants to give to me, right? The woman I'm with is one of the most giving, loyal, and down-to-earth women ever that doesn't expect anything. She's the type of woman that deserves to have a good lifestyle like she used to have when she was married and before that time with her family. Not live the lower class, trashy lifestyle that many people do in her, in where she lives now and where her friend lives as well. It's just sad to me, right? Because here's the thing. This is what her friend doesn't realize. I talked about this with my lady. This is why you never burn any bridges, okay? This is why you never burn any fucking bridges with people. Because one day, my lady is going to move in. We're going to have our life together. It's going to be a great life. We're not going to worry about money or anything. No problem, right? But what happens one day if her friend in that same town is still in that same town and her friend's daughter is still living there and dependent on her mother, right? And let's say her mother gets injured and can't work or something happens and, she can't afford to pay her rent and she gets evicted and has nowhere to go. At that point, let's say her friend comes to my woman and then she comes to me asking me for help. At that point, how do you think I'm going to feel about that, right? I'm not an asshole. I'm not a jerk. I'm a real decent, down-to-earth guy, right? But, yeah. You are now trying to destroy my relationship because you feel I'm going to take your friend away, right? It's pathetic. You're a grown-ass woman in your early 40s. And yes, I do want to get her out of that town because she deserves better, right? Doesn't mean that she wants to ditch you. It doesn't mean that I don't like you. I don't like the way you're behaving. I still don't even hate this woman, right? Because I don't have any hatred for people. Yes, in the past, sure. Before we figured this shit out, yeah, I've hated on people, right? But I don't do that anymore. I don't have any hate for this woman at all, right? But she has so much hatred for herself, right? And instead of rising above it and, maybe going out and finding a decent guy that she can have a life with and become a better person, then she won't have the time, let alone feel the need to project her insecurities onto me or to try to destroy her supposed best friend's relationship with a man that she's really getting along with and really cares for, right? Yeah, my lady and I were talking about this last night. And I told her, you know what, baby? These people on YouTube have put me through the ringer. They've spun so many different narratives about my life, my family's life, etc., right? When I had an ex-girlfriend on my former channel, they, attacked her and her family, right? You give these people an inch, they take a yard, they take a mile, they take 10 miles, right? That's all because they're miserable inside, they're unhappy, right? And when people are unhappy and you're happy, they dig deep into you. And when they can't find anything, then they spin their own narrative, right? You see, here's the thing. Like, I'm not even triggered at all. And, I talked about it in a cool, calm, and collective way with my lady. My lady's good, right? And all that, right? I forgot what I was going to say. I totally forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. But yeah, I talked to my lady about it last night. And my lady was really, really pissed off at her friend. I told my lady, I said, let it go. Don't be mad at her. I said, I'm not mad at her. And she's like, why? Because you're not seeing the actual problems she has. And my lady goes, yeah, I am. She's unhappy. She's miserable. That's right. You got it, baby. She's unhappy. She's miserable. Right? And she's projecting that misery onto you and to me because she wishes she could have what we have. The truth of the matter is she can have what we have. She's just not open to it. And how many guys has she turned down that were willing to take care of her and give her the life she wants, right? The reason why she didn't give those guys a chance is because she's not physically attracted to them or they're beta male-ish, right? To a certain extent, I can kind of understand that, right? But the way she's behaving, what she doesn't get, a woman behaving the way your friend's behaving, what kind of man like me or any other decent alpha male, white collar alpha male is going to give her the time of day with that shit attitude, right? Right? You only get back what you put out. She's attracting beta males. She's attracting the wrong men because that's how she's behaving. If she wants to attract better quality people, she needs to first start by being a better quality person herself, right? I'm only sharing this for example purposes, folks, because I'm not triggered. You hear me getting triggered, getting mad? No. Am I in fear of losing my woman? No. My woman's more in fear of losing me. And baby, you don't need to be, right? You see, that's what people try to do to people like me. They try to come at me, and because I'm a good person, come from a good family, live in one of the nicest places on the planet, right? And have a good life. They they're so jealous of it that they just wanna destroy me because they wanna destroy the Bay Area boy, right? Right? And quite frankly, I'm a very humble person. I do love where I live and I do love my lifestyle, but I'm not a show off. I've never once shown off. And these people, these low life scumbags, right? These lower class people, wherever they're at, all over the US, for example, right? What do these people do? Right? I never show off anything, and I have things to show off, but I don't show off, right? These people that have nothing, whenever they come across something, they show everything off, right? Why? Because they're insecure. They're insecure. They feel less than worthy, right? That's the problem, right? And that's what my lady's friend is feeling. She doesn't feel worthy enough, right? Because if she did, she wouldn't do this stupid shit, right? That's probably going to cost her a friendship. Now, I'm not going to tell my woman who she can and can't hang out with. Babe, I would never say that, and you know that, right? I would never say that. You want to be friends with this woman for the rest of your life? That's on you. But I will say this. Whenever you hang around her, then I'll take that day off and just go walking by myself. Or staying home and doing a live stream or more videos. Because honestly, I don't want to be around people like that. Not because I can't handle being around them. They're not worthy of my time. How's that going to benefit me to hang around someone like that? What do they have to offer me? I have a lot more to offer them. But they're trying to kick down what I have to offer and discredit what I have to offer. So why would I want to help them in any case, right? Right? Never surround yourself with negative, unhappy people. I'm trying to really teach people to understand the different personality types and how people that are at a low point in their life are going to try to suck you into their low life and keep you there, even if you're about to get out of it, right? Typically, I get cut off right around here. I bet I'll get cut off at least one more time before I exit this trail. I just know the terrain. It's similar spots, Queen. It's just the way the electrical lines are out here in the atmosphere and how it affects the cell tower, right? Maybe I'll get lucky, who knows? God willing, right? People that project their insecurities onto me and try to trash talk me and try to ruin my relationship and try to ruin my family and my life and all that, they don't trigger me anymore. They don't bother me anymore. You're wasting your time. I want to teach you folks to rise above it too and not let it get to you, because the only way they can ruin your life or what you've got is if you allow them to. All you have to do is be a down-to-earth, genuine, honest person. Be upfront, like I was with my lady. We are at 99 minutes with a couple cutoffs, so it's at an hour and 39 minutes, maybe an hour 37, hour 38 or so with a few cutoffs. Be honest with people like I was with my lady from the very beginning. I told her everything. Everything. And in the past, you know, when I met women, I didn't divulge as much because, not because I was trying to hide anything, because, you know, I just wanted to get to know them and be sure that they were the right one before I start telling them things, right? With this woman, she proved to me so quickly that she was a good person. Like I didn't even have to try. She was just amazing from the very beginning. And from the very beginning, I said, I want to tell you everything and decide if you still want to be with me, right? I told her that, right? I told her everything that was going to happen, right? Everything people have said about me. All right, folks, I'm back. Hold it right there, Eli. I did trigger you about Chris Como. No, Queen, I didn't actually get triggered. I was unhappy at CNN for firing Chris Como for really no apparent reason, just because he wanted to help his brother out. Right? What do you do in that situation? Do you not help your family in a situation like that? And say, screw you, brother, I got a job that will fire me if I help you, right? Oh, it's unethical, I can't even talk, an unethical thing for a journalist to do and associate with. Man, these guys are coming here on this side. Now I got to go back over here. Oh, man. Okay. Everyone's coming out to walk now. It's all good. Lanes are cleared. Yeah, you know what, Queen? That was a situation where Chris Como was in a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? That's a catch-22. Catch-22s are bullshit. They're unfair. I don't deal with them, right? That's why I'm self-employed now, because when you want to turn in here, you can put on your blinker. And I could have waited. Okay. Another thing, people don't use their blinkers anymore nowadays. They're so distracted by their damn phone, they don't even signal to where they're going. But cars still have signals, blinkers, right? So they just stop and kind of curve their tires towards the direction they want to go, and they assume that you will replace that as them using their signal, their blinker, right? Everything in life, folks, is subjective to how you interpret it, right? The law is subjective to how, officers of the law want to apply it, right? And shouldn't the law be applied equally to everyone? Sure. But there are always going to be unique circumstances, right? And I've grown to learn that, hey, you can't be such a stickler with the law, because then if you're that much of a stickler, every time you go 1 mile over the speed limit, you're breaking the law and you're being a hypocrite, right? Right? I've learned to be a little more subjective with everything in life, including the law and stuff. And I'm not saying break the law, but sometimes you got to do certain things that are morally wrong to end up in the position where the end result is morally right. Okay? That sounds funny, right? But in a lot of cases, what happens when, policemen are setting up a sting, right? Are they doing something that's really morally right? They're basically entrapping the person to commit a crime because they know they've committed other crimes that they can't get him on, and they want to catch him in a staged crime, right? Is that morally right? Not really, because you're setting someone up, you're entrapping them, right? But is it for the right moral outcome? Yeah, this guy's murdered people or harmed people in other ways that are above and beyond the reasonable limits of the law, right? Then I can understand it, right? Sometimes you got to do something morally wrong for it to end up being morally right in the end, right? It's not easy to understand that. Not easy to understand that at all. Most of the time, in most cases, most of the time, the end is going to justify the means, right? It's something that I learned about being out here on YouTube because I had to do certain things to protect myself and my family and other people I cared for that may not have been morally right, but they were for the morally right outcome, right? And I've been scrutinized about that to this day by some low-life scumbags, just like I was talking about regarding the situation in my lady's hometown, right? Similar types of people, right? Right? And I'm not concerned about whether low-life scumbags think I'm morally right or wrong because they just are unhappy and they're so unhappy and miserable that they can't tell what's morally right or wrong anyway, right? Right? But I've dealt with these situations and I've learned to understand that sometimes you got to do things you really don't want to do for the morally, ethically, and proper thing to end up happening, right? And it also comes with scrutiny, and you're also going to be just dealing with a lot of shit in many cases just to get the right thing done when the right thing can't be done doing it the typical right way, right? It's just the way things are nowadays, folks. And when you learn to understand this and not complain about it and just focus on yourself, being a positive person no matter, how people come at you or what they do to you, right? Like my lady's friend, ma'am, if you're watching this, I have no hate for you. I actually feel sorry for you. I feel bad for you, right? I'm not mad that you ran my background check and you assumed I had 2 restraining orders on me that I don't, right? Okay? I'm not mad one bit at all, okay? Because I'm secure within myself, right? I'm secure also within my relationship with your supposed friend, right? Right? And I'm not telling, my lady who's your supposed friend to stop hanging out with you. I'm saying, hey, you want to hang out with this woman, hang out with her, right? Ma'am, I'm not telling her what to do. She's choosing what's better for her. And maybe that's what you don't like. She's choosing to rise above all the BS, to rise above all the trashy things that you guys have all done together in your hometown, many things that we're going to talk about in a future podcast. You're going to probably want to tune into that, ma'am, because we'll probably mention you too, right? Respectfully, obviously, just for example purposes, but we're going to mention you too. We won't use your name, but we'll, refer to you in a roundabout way, right? Because a lot of people out here, when you actually put out the truth, right? And the truth hurts them, right? And you use their name and stuff, they'll look at all the guidelines and try to get your videos removed for privacy concern or violation of some policy. I'm the cleanest guy on the planet. Hit me with your best shot if you want, okay? Even if you're lucky to get one of my videos taken down, my channel's so clean and such a good standing record with YouTube. It's just one little message and 5 minutes later they remove the strike, right? That's how confident and secure I am that my content is good and real, right? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I got to get going. I'm going to go home and eat and then talk with my lady and see how she's doing. It says 109 minutes, almost 110 minutes, which would be an hour and 40 minutes. I did this pretty quick today. But we're probably an hour 38, hour 39 minutes because of a few cutoffs, folks. Before I shut this down, I'm going to go offline and come back online because I don't want this to get cut off while I'm shutting it down or else the stream won't get shut down properly. I'll be right back. All right. Should be back. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap this baby up at an hour with a couple cutoffs, probably an hour 39, hour 38, hour 39, an hour 40 minutes, right around there. Thank you to Queen Helen Case for being here. Thank you to Derek for being here earlier. Thank you to Lewis Fuller for being here earlier and anyone else watching behind the scenes. I don't know. I would love to do an in-studio stream, maybe tonight. I'm not sure. It all depends. But I think my lady's going to need a little more support with what's going on with her, and I really want to be there for her on my own free will. I don't feel forced. She's a good woman. She's been good to me, and when someone's good to me, they get my attention, right? Without even having to try. That's a natural thing. Have a good one, folks. Take care, and see you next time, whenever that may be. Good night, and as always, be good to each other.